Welcome, everybody. We are back. This is episode 12 of our Wellness Decoded podcast. I'm your co host and co founder, Alan Gonzalez of Optimum Health of Utah. And then we have the lovely Darlene Gonzalez, our nurse practitioner who specializes in all things functional, hormones, integrative medicine, which is our specialty here at OHU. And just a quick little teaser, we've got some new stuff coming down the road with integrative medicine, and will be some future podcasts where we'll be sharing some of the new services and treatments that we'll be adding to our practice, which I think a lot of people will find really, really cool. And we're super excited about some of the things that are coming. But today, we wanted to talk a little bit about hormones and sleepless nights. I think that's one of the big ones that Darlene hears about. And not to forget, we've got a little guest with us here. This is Teddy, and Teddy is our little mascot here at OHU and O. And so he's going to join us, and hopefully he can not be a little booger during the podcast. Yeah, he'll just be hopefully nice and calm. So anyways, yeah. All right, Darlene, yeah, go ahead and get us started and take us through what we want to talk about today.
So, hormones and sleepless nights. One of the things that people don't understand is that progesterone can be a huge thing in relation to this. So, it's really important to check progesterone when you have insomnia. And what is insomnia? Basically, it's trouble falling asleep, it's difficulty staying asleep, and it's waking up too early. Or when you wake up, you still feel tired. So, if you're waking up still feeling tired and it's not related to a medication you took the night before, then it's probably you're not getting into REM sleep. One of the biggest things that progesterone does for you is to put you into that nice deep REM sleep. So yeah, that's probably my biggest thing with progesterone. But there are some common triggers that we also have to kind of like rule out. What about too much screen time, sleep hygiene, making sure that you're not drinking caffeine right before bed, or I would even say, you know, from noon on. If you're drinking a lot of caffeine, you might wanna stop that as well.
Yeah.
So, those are the things you kinda wanna rule out.
Yeah, absolutely. And then one of the big solutions, or one of the big things that you find when you're going through blood draws and results from patients, is the progesterone level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's quite interesting with both men and women, how you can see a deficiency in progesterone if they are having issues with sleep, depression, or anxiety. So those are very, very important, and that is why we call this the chill out hormone. It's the one that helps you relax,
Right.
basically.
Yeah. And tell everybody a little bit, because you had me on a little bit of progesterone, and talk a little bit about how progesterone works for men versus women. It's obviously more with women,
Yeah.
but men sometimes need a little bit. I mean, you all need a little
Absolutely.
bit, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's still we both have GABA receptors, men and women, right? And so it stimulates those receptors, which helps quiet the brain. And that quieting of the brain promotes your sleep. So if you're constantly thinking about everything that's going on in your life when you get to bed, most likely you need something to help calm those GABA receptors. And so that's for both of us. Women primarily make their progesterone in their ovaries, but also in their uterus. Men don't have that. Men make a tiny bit of progesterone. It's kind of the same thing like with estrogen. You make a little bit of estrogen too. And so you need that. You should never deplete that. It's interesting because sometimes we'll notice that a man will come in and he's on a dimmer. That dim is depleting their estrogen. And so estrogen is extremely important for their body, just like the progesterone. So I like to check all of my guys' progesterone and estrogen, as well as my women. But it's known as a calming or soothing hormone. And since it's made in the if it's helping to stimulate the GABA receptors, it'll help promote that sleep. So think of progesterone as nature's own like sleep aid, gentle, balancing, calming.
Right. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Okay. And so in our next section, we talk a little bit about why progesterone levels decline, and talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So there's a few things. One is aging, especially mid 30s and beyond. And that's probably the biggest because progesterone's the first thing to go in both men and women, actually. Chronic stress, cortisol robs the building blocks from progesterone. So, in order to build progesterone in your body, your cortisol cannot be too high. If it's too high, you do not have those building blocks that you need. So sometimes we have to reduce the cortisol, and that's actually the biggest thing.
Right.
And then for women and ovulatory cycles, so no ovulation equals no progesterone. Okay. Thyroid dysfunction, men and women can experience that. Poor diet, excessive exercising, or under eating. Okay.
Really? Okay.
Yep. Those things can truly cause deficiencies in progesterone levels. And then symptoms that may accompany that progesterone deficiency is the sleep, like we said, anxiety, racing thoughts at night, irritability, mood swings, shorter menstrual cycles, spotting or PMS for women, low libido for both men and women, as well as night sweats. So the main reasons why our progesterone declines is aging though. That is number one.
Yeah. And so one of the things as people are watching this, especially, others that may be in this field, I've gone to another provider and they saw that, I was taking progesterone because I was having a hard time sleeping because my mind would just continue to race throughout the night. I was having a hard time staying asleep or falling back asleep. And Darlene put me on a small amount of progesterone, which was a game changer. It didn't cause any other issues with what I was needing to have. So, guys, don't be afraid to, ask those questions of your provider. Again, most of your standard providers may not, look at this and see that this is actually could be a problem. And so, make sure you're asking those questions, do your research, make sure you're seeing an integrative medicine, a functional medicine provider, because we are all about optimization,
Yeah.
and all our hormones need to be optimized.
Yeah. So we would never put you too high on progesterone as a man, too high on estrogen because you don't want to go too high. It can cause the opposite effect, but we don't want to go too low either.
Right.
And so if we see that you're deficient, we're going to recommend a dose, which is definitely way lower than a woman. So it would be like about 25 to 50 milligrams versus a woman's starting dose is 100.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. And so, a lot of what we're talking about may resonate with you. And a lot of people just don't know how to go about this because obviously most integrative medicine providers, functional providers, do not accept insurance or insurance doesn't cover this. So a lot of people are afraid to like when to seek help, when do I really need to do this, and how do I do it?
Right. Well, first you can come. Don't wait too long.
Right.
But if the sleep issue is continuing more than 4 weeks, you definitely want to come in. If this insomnia is also in conjunction with anxiety changes, depression, or irregular cycles for women, then yes, come in, and that would should be immediately. But we would still draw your blood for a woman between the 15th and 24th day of their cycle. So that's super important. And then if you're in 30 to 50-year-old age range, then and your sleep has been getting worse, then I would come in as soon as possible.
Right.
Okay. But sleep issues that persist when you're younger, 20s, etc., that is usually related to some sort of issue with the GABA receptors, which can be progesterone. But there are other things. Sometimes you just need to reduce your stress. You need to meditate, do breath work, and start adaptogens. You can support through the ovulation through like nutritional
Diet.
supports, inositol, for instance. Avoid over exercising, extreme dieting, and then ensure adequate sleep hygiene. Put your phone away from you when you go to bed. Don't put it right next to you because typically you'll wake up in the middle of the night and think, oh, I need to check this. And then you pull it up and then you're wide awake. So there's a few things that can support your sleep as well, like magnesium, B6, vitamin C, and zinc. We can talk about that when you come in, but it is important for you to consult a specialist in hormones or a specialist in functional medicine.
Hmm.
So typically that integrative provider is the best, but do not go straight towards trazodone or any of those Ambien or other supplements that are a little overkill in my
Yeah.
opinion
Can be
because
addictive.
if they're it could be addictive, but the other thing is they could be just treating the symptom instead of the actual condition. So keep an eye on how you're feeling and if that insomnia is being, starting around the time that you're developing the anxiety or the depression or the mood changes,
Hmm.
then come on in, let's check your progesterone.
Right. I like what you wrote down here. It says sometimes it's not your mind that's the problem, it's your hormones whispering, I need help.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like people tend to blame themselves for issues that they're having. Depression. Oh, I just can't function. I can't do this. This is all my fault. I'm lazy. I'm da da da. It's usually there's an answer in your hormone
Mhm.
labs to all of that. And so don't ever blame yourself. Come in, okay? Come in and get yourself checked because that thing that you are constantly nagging yourself about could literally not be your fault
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah. But I have to say, Darlene is what I call her the medical detective.
I love
She loves solving
mysteries.
problems.
Mysteries are so fun.
I know we'll sit down and she's reviewing something and she's like, going through everything. And then she's like, has her aha moment and comes up with the solution. And then she'll go and talk to the patient and the patient will be like starting to cry. It's been 10 years. I've been seeing doctors for 5 years. Nobody's ever been able to figure it out. And so she just takes
They
the
just
extra
need
time.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, I wish more people would go in and take some hormone classes in regards to HRT specifically, because those primary care physicians, they are amazing, but they are regulated by insurance and they need a little bit of education on the hormone
Mm.
side, and they can help their patients, tremendously. I do
Right.
know that insurance won't cover a lot of this stuff, but I mean, there are some things that is worth it. You
Yeah.
have to 100% think about your health.
Got to invest in your health. And we've really made it accessible for our patients through our partnerships with our labs and others. We've really made it accessible. Plus, you can always do a reimbursement with your HSA or your FSA. And so those are some good things and some good options for you to pay. But all right, well, let's go ahead and take this one home and in closing.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're not broken. You're not alone. You've got help out there. Insomnia might be your body's way of just asking for the hormonal balance, not just another pill.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just need that balance. So,
Yeah, well, that's totally true. And so that's what we do here at Optimum Health of Utah, Integrative Medicine. And we'd love to see you and see how we can help. If you have a loved one or you or somebody that's struggling with some of the things that we discussed today around sleepless nights and things like that, definitely have them check us out at optimumhealthmed.com, or they can call or text us at 801-756-1404. That's 801-756-1404. We would definitely love to have you like our podcast, consider subscribing, share it with as many people because we're really here to try to educate as many people as possible to help them, really start to feel better, look better, and live a better life. So
yes.
we'll definitely see you on the next one.
Yep.
Okay.
Love you.
Love you. Bye.